What's up, everybody? This is Talkative Carl back again for a kind of like a discussion video, and uh, is in conjunction with my review of season 1 of Hazbin Hotel, which should be on my YouTube channel pretty soon. But I also, excuse me, really wanted to talk about one of my favorite characters from the show, Adam, the first man, who, in my opinion, has been done very dirty. And I only say in certain cases, not the fact that like he's played as a villain in this take, but there's no added nuances outside of him just being like kind of like a douche. Because yeah, the creator, she took the Genesis narrative and kind of like, put a spin on it, whereas like, yeah, they really make like certain members of hell, especially Lucifer and Lilith, seem super sympathetic, but make Adam like just like a one layer just jerk, which I don't think is fair in my personal opinion. Now, you could easily have played Adam as like, the bad guy, sure. But if you go off the story's narrative of Hazbin Hotel's narrative, like, oh yeah, God created Adam, they didn't create Lilith. But it seems like, oh, Adam was the only dick in the group. Whereas like, oh, it makes it seem like, because I think I cringe at saying this, but I'm just gonna say it because this is my opinion and how I view it, and I'm taking the show and how it's being presented to me. So I'm gonna give my feedback, honest feedback on this. I think the writers are leaning way too much. Honestly, it wasn't much, but you can get the vibe because that's what a lot of people are taking from this. All the people who I've seen give their takes on Adam, and it's like, oh, he's narcissistic, oh, he's misogynist. Sure, I can see the elements of narcissism, but it's like you gotta take the foot off the gas on that stuff, because if you look at the nuances in the story that you presented in your little take, he was the first man. He was expected to do a particular job. He's essentially supposed to be like the patriarch of humanity. He was the first one. It would make sense that he, then a partner is created from just the same, but Lilith did not want to just follow his rules. She wanted to do her own thing. But that kind of like caused, you know, bickering. I just to put like a soft take on it. But it's like, I'm not trying to say in this particular take on Lilith, because in the actual biblical story, Lilith was turned into an actual demon because of and she was actually is the creator of a lot of demons in like the old texts. And so in Hazbin Hotel, they really got into that stuff where she helped create hell and a lot of denizens of hell. But the writers really made Lilith, Lucifer, and even Eve to some extent way more sympathetic, where like Adam was like the only jerk, whereas like Lilith didn't want to abide by any rule possibly. They didn't dive too much into it, but I imagine the writers that they carve out a episode dedicated of like what went down, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make Adam like lean into the whole thing where it's like, yo, listen to me, I'm a dude, just do what I say. I would appreciate it if like, Lilith was not as sympathetic as you want to lay her out to be, whereas it's like unfairly just not listen to it just for the sake of not listening to him, when it's like, hey, I want to like get these I don't know, let's pick these oranges over here, and she just like, why I gotta pick these oranges? Why can't we just get like, you know, tangerine? Why can't we just get like these grapes over here? And it's like back and forth, and it's like that'd be a little more realistic because couples argue, they debate, and it's just that you can just show that neither one of them were good for each other. They both were toxic in their own ways, rather than laying the entire blame on one side. I don't think that was very fair. And then in comes Lucifer, who in this show has, like, you know, good intentions, but you know what they say about good intentions paved with, you know, is the road to hell kind of situation, where it's like he butted his nose into the affairs of Lilith and Adam, and they fell in love, which fine, but then continued on to, you know, goad Eve into like eating this apple because you have some knowledge. I want to give you something because you have the right to this kind of thing, if you want to lean into that narrative, and then it inadvertently caused the downfall of humanity. Now, instead of like I said, like, I would have appreciated more with these writers, because they kind of like spoon-fed us, and even like the character Charlie, into these whimsical, I won't say whimsical, like, but just this false narrative that paints Adam very slanderously as like the sole progenitor of what, you know, like, oh, like he's a dick just for the sake of it. And it's like, Lil doesn't have a part to play in that. Lucifer doesn't have a part to play in that. Eve doesn't have a part to play in that. All four of these people was complacent. They wouldn't fly by the rule of law, where it's like they all take a part in it, but only one person gets, well, they get punished. Like Lilith and Lucifer, of course, get punished, but it just seems like the narrative lays like the sympathy card, like, oh, they were cast out. Oh, that was unfair. Oh, but yeah, I mean, you could have Adam be kind of a dick, but at the most, his dickishness should rise to dude bro, you know, college, you know, ass at the most. And the fact that the people constantly call him like a misogynist, and it's like he has like an army of female angels, you know, ready to kill for him, and his right hand is a woman. So like, how is he misogynist? Do you even know what the freaking that word means? Because like, it means he hates women. But I argue he's the most feminist because his entire employees are all women. The people who fights for him, all women. His right hand, a woman. His boss, a woman that he listens to. And then Lute, his partner, I argue, probably would have made a better, which kind of leans into that at the tail end, that she would have probably been a better mate to Adam, because Eve was supposed to be his helpmate, not his slave or anything like that. Like, people like to push that freaking narrative, but supposed to be his helpmate, because Lute was a ride or die kind of attitude, where she is like, my man has a plan, I'm gonna carry that out. I killed 247 freaking demons, like, right on, pound it kind of thing. And it's like something that Adam probably longed for, you know, from a female companion for a long time, and never really truly got that, because Lucifer kept taking two of his wives back to back. And of course, a writer could have leaned into that, where it's like, we at the tail end, when he had his little meltdown, he could have just, instead of talking about like, oh, y'all all come from me, you could have written like, oh, I'm the bad guy, so I'm the asshole because I was the first man here. I was supposed to run things. Then your mom wouldn't want to, want to argue with me on every little thing. And then in comes Lucifer, taking her away from me. And then when I got my second wife, You corrupted her. It caused the downfall of humanity. But I'm the bad guy here. And like Adam pointed out, like, to Lucifer, you're the most hated being in all creation. So it's like, yeah, like, Lucifer, Lilith, Eve, which I'm shocked that I'm pretty sure maybe in season 2 they'll introduce Eve, but I would appreciate it if when we actually see Lilith and Eve, and hopefully Eve, come into play or something, they can be just, or at least can you imagine if they really, like, a good writer really make Eve like a total bitch, like make Adam seems so much more tame by comparison, where she's just as, if not, well, matter of fact, if Lilith was created the same way as Adam, she should be just as much of a dick as he is, if they're supposed to be equals on that front in terms of being created. But Eve, I imagine, a cool writer, if they really want to, if you want to do these spins on it, make Eve like a complete bitch, like just a sadistic, Joker-esque, like of a nightmare of a being, like gotten because he ate that apple, and then all the toil she has to go through when she fell corrupted her mind as much as like probably corrupted to a lower extent to Adam, but he still followed the guidelines of of the way of heaven. But she really went off the deep end, and that would have been a lot more cool. But I don't know if the writers will go that way. I think they're really leaning into the fact that, like, no, it's all Adam, because he was the sole, like, oh, he they didn't say it like this, but a lot of people are taking from this narrative, and they're certain psychologists looking at Adam, and like he has narcissistic qualities. I'm not going to deny that, because he is a dick, yes, but you can look, if you go beyond that, it's got, given what Hazbin Hotel has given to us, there's more layers to this, there's more story to this, because I imagine, given how Charlie was reading the book earlier in the pilot, how like, oh, making it seem like her parents were so mistreated, but a story that was kind of given to her to make them look like the heroes, but she wasn't there. She doesn't know like the finite details of the context, whereas like if she was there, like do some time travel shenanigans, she has to see firsthand. If they would do something like that, I imagine, at least how I would do it, I would show like, no, all of them have their own thing that caused like the ultimate downfall. They all took part, and that would have been fair all across the board. Nobody's more sympathetic than the other. They all had they all had some, they deemed those right way to do things, but they did it in the wrong way. But if the writers of the show, if they would have like did some kind of time travel shenanigans in an episode, and Charlie was able to see what went down, they will probably lean into Adam being like just the sole asshole in the entire narrative, and everybody else was be like, oh, super sympathetic. I imagine how like certain other writers seem like they portray a lot of these characters. It's like wow, that is a little bit of a, I want to say echo chamber, but it's like very one-sided, a very biased attitude, and I do not agree of them just leaning into the whole narcissist, misogynist angle on this, because it seems too easy or too obvious to go that route, being like he's the first man, so he got to be like the first asshole. You could have gone that with his son Cain, given the fact that he was the first murderer. But Adam, because the show Supernatural, the way they portrayed Adam in that one episode in the last season, I appreciated that, because they leaned into the narrative of him being a little bit more chill, very Cheech and Chong, hippie vibes. Everything's very mellow with him. Given the fact that he grew up he's one of the few beings to understand what paradise was like. He would have been like very chill and like go with the flow attitude. And I appreciate that because they won't make Adam like just an asshole. And of course, every writers do their own little thing. If they want to go in a particular narrative, they can choose which way they want to go to it. They have their rights. But as an consumer of the content, I give my own opinions on the fact that it's a little one-sided, it's a little biased and kind of slanderous of the character of Adam because he was the sole person culpable of the downfall of humanity. And yeah, you can go to like the asshole angle, but it all came from somewhere. And you can also go with the fact that every person that came from him all went one way and the others went a different way. And those who went a different way all indulged in very horrific, monstrous things that lands them in hell. So he just like maybe snapped or something, or just detached himself from it, given the fact like, okay, y'all had free choice. Y'all chose to do like, you know, pillage and plunder and, you know, hurt, kill, all this sinful stuff. So, and a lot of you ended up in hell. So it's like, I don't feel bad after that point. You lost your shot, like Luke says, like you had your chance, and now you boil in the pot. And it's like, you know, and they want to make the denizens of hell even seem sympathetic, and it's just like, not all of them. I was like, it's not like it's a bad idea to have like a Hazbin hotel to help redeem certain inhabitants of hell, but some, like the TV demon, don't deserve any kind of redemption. They did something that caused them to go to hell. It's a punishment. It's essentially a massive otherworldly prison. It's usually at the end of the line. So of course Adam will be detached and will feel nothing with slaughtering inhabitants of hell because they there for a reason. But I mean, I'm just doing quick thoughts on this kind of thing. But it's always, I've found some other people reacting to Hazbin Hotel, and a lot of them like Adam, but they, at least so many, not all, but so many just, you know, hate the fact like Adam, he's just such a narcissist. Oh, like he's this and he's that. It's like, like I would have liked the writers to just give him more layers to him. Even like Biff from Back to the Future has, yeah, sure, he really leaned into that whole bully narrative and now grew out of it. But you can see it's like, you know, some sides to him. Well, I don't think Biff was like a proper example, but somebody like maybe like Archer from Archer, Sterling Archer. You can say like, oh, he's just like a drunk bully that hits on everything that walks, but he has other qualities to him that shows that it's more to him than that. Like in like Ahsoka series, when that episode where Ahsoka's being trained by the Force Ghost of Anakin, he's telling her, it's like, there's more to you than that, because it's more to me than that, because I'm more than just what I became. I had this life. I, you know, had these feelings and like turmoils and everything like that. I laughed, I played, I lived. And sure, the end of my life cycle was mired in horrific, you know, catastrophe. But prior to that, I lived. Like, I trained you, you know me. And sure, like, I did horrific stuff at the tail of my life, but it's like I'm more to it than that. It's like other, you know, things around that turn me into that. I'm not, you know, saying like you know, I'm not saying that didn't happen or like it wasn't my complete fault, but I acknowledge I did still do it. But it's just like painting me in this one brushstroke isn't like, you know, very fair. And that's how I'm viewing like the whole character of Adam. I don't think it's very fair you put him on this one brushstroke. There's more to it than that, and I would appreciate the writers, hopefully in season 2 or something, where they can give Adam a little bit more to it than just being like he's a dick for no reason. But yeah, those are my quick thoughts on it. You can leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the character Adam, because I think it was kind of grimy how he was, at least to a certain degree, how it was kind of grimy he was treated. Because I imagine he will probably be fallen and maybe have to be. That's the suspicion a lot of people have, that he will be in hell and he has to go to the Hazbin Hotel to redeem himself, or work with the other like the TV demon in order to get revenge on Lucifer and the others. That could be possible. But anyway, those are my quick thoughts on Adam. Like I said, I think he's done dirty at least a wee bit. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, because you know I'm gonna be light with work, so I can be home for the most time, so I can work on a lot of the reviews. So I figure I'd get out my last 2 movie reviews for the month of February out for you guys tomorrow. And next month I'm gonna get started on March's movie reviews, and they're all gonna be like female-led kind of stories. I'm gonna leave them as a surprise, but they're fun stuff. I've been sitting on for a minute, so I don't know. I guess technically I'm gonna start on the 29th, because I pre-ordered the FF7 Rebirth game, but it won't because I'm gonna get it digitally, but it won't be available until like that 11 p.m. my time. So while it's loading up and everything like that day, earlier that day, I'm gonna start my chaotic lore video, as well as the first 2 movie reviews for the month of March. So look forward to those, and there's gonna be a lot of them gonna be Disney related, so I'm gonna be busy on Disney Plus a lot. But look forward to those, and at some point next, probably by the end of next month, maybe in the middle, will be the next X-Men related comic book review. It's gonna be X Factor, as a matter of fact, but it's 50 issues. I'm only like 15. I'm on the 15th issue right now, but hopefully, like, I'll try to get it wrapped up as soon as I can, and when I'm done, that's when I will do the review. So maybe not the middle of March, but definitely some point early March. Hopefully I'll get it out for you guys. And then well, yeah, besides that, I'm gonna be very busy with a lot of FF7 Rebirth content, so I'm excited. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, have a great weekend. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.